Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi guys, and it's now around 2 something, to around 2:30 to whatever, but it's 2 in the afternoon. And Alhamdulillah, today I got out of the hospital a bit early, Alhamdulillah. I mean, what people term as sometimes a lighter rotation, but for me it isn't light. It just so happens that today I'm lucky enough to get out of the hospital at this hour. But then um, I'm on the road right now. Not on the road per se, like barabara iko tu hapa next. I'm wearing my shoes, as you can tell or not tell already. But I'm at the mosque and I'm from praying Zohar, alhamdulillah. And I really quickly wanted to share something with you guys. One of the things that okay, let me just finish this. Guys, much later, and alhamdulillah, at least a little bit in a little bit more quiet environment. But let's make this short. If you've watched this video over here, you probably have a little bit of an understanding into of my journey into medicine and why and how I got myself into medicine. But here's a quick story that I didn't share with you guys probably around, I would say, 5 years ago. And sorry, but here I am in first year while we were just joining uni. A lot of people were skeptical about the course clinical medicine, and everything was just a little bit in the gray area. A lot of us in our class, in our cohorts, didn't have a lot of information about clinical medicine, especially with a lot of emphasis on the degree. A lot of people were like, oh, we are going to do this thing. We've never heard of this thing. At least we've never had a lot of people doing this thing. It's a new thing. We are probably going to end up somewhere in a limbo. We are probably going to end up somewhere not wanted by any government facility or not being wanted. We are not going to do internship. We're not going to, there were a lot of things that were running, between our heads. And it was okay for us to feel that way because at some point we didn't have a medsheva, to show us the journey from like the point of like being in school and studying and how the classes are and how are the clinicals and everything to the point of actually getting to internship and a lot of things and bidnillah whatever follows inshallah. So alhamdulillah, also that is one of the reasons why I started this channel. So story for another day. But the reason why I'm telling you guys this story, all of that rumble, we were in that bubble of like, should we continue to do this thing or like should we just look for other options? So like this was going on. This is a mentality and a personality trait that I do have. I am the kind of person who really appreciates or like likes to have to be solution oriented. So like in a problem setting, I will try, or like in a rubble or like in somewhere where there's a lot of confusion, I will try my best sort of see like shide kwapi, like where's the actual problem. Even like this is something which is adding up to the information I'm about to give you guys. But then it's something that is just embedded in within me. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma lak alhamd. Like in such a situation, I will try to identify like where's the problem, even on my day-to-day life. If I find myself, for instance, in a very deep thought, or like if I find myself very anxious or like maybe agitated or about something, I'm just like, okay, what's happening? Like, what's the actual problem? What is this particular thing that is actually making you feel this way? And I try end up with like a few, I'm saying differentials, guys. Can you believe that? Eh? Tell me you're working in a hospital without telling me you're working in a hospital. So I end up with a list of things, okay, or a list of differentials that probably would lead me to such a particular cause. But then and then try my best to find a solution for every single one of these things, or like the most important, and prioritize the most important thing that needs sorting so that I can sort it out and maybe live a happier life for that particular moment. So in that particular time, alhamdulillah, one of the options that was available to me, alhamdulillah, was pharmacy. So um, I did a few research here and there, and then I was like, let me try this pharmacy thing. I went over to the School of Pharmacy back at Kabarak University. Alhamdulillah, the pharmacy class had already closed their admissions. They were no longer accepting anyone from any other school. They were no longer accepting anyone from school. Like, no new admissions were being taken from pharmacy school. So I was there like, I'm taking myself. So Alhamdulillah, Allahumma lak alhamd, because of my grade and my cluster points and everything, I could do pharmacy still as a government sponsored student. Okay, for those of you who didn't know that I was a government sponsored student, here's the information. I was a government sponsored student. So Still, alhamdulillah, my grades could allow me at that time to do pharmacy, the degree, and like my cluster points were also allowing me to join the pharmacy class. So I remember one of the lecturers in clinical medicine actually took the honors of taking me to the dean of pharmacy. They did the actual, like, talking, and they like just convinced them that this is a student that will actually, like, they did the wingman thing for me. So they did talk. Well, I was there in the office, but they were like vouching for me because even alhamdulillah, even in the few weeks of us being in school in clinical medicine, I had shown some sort of, like, alhamdulillah, some sort of, like, what will I say? Some sort of, I don't know what to say it, but some sort of value, or like some sort of like goodness, or like some sort of like, you know, what do you call it? Opportunity, not opportunity, optimism, not optimism, but some form of like, what do you call it when you're seeing potential? Yeah, potential is the one. So I had shown some sort of potential, and as a student, as a good student, and from my grades, from the cuts that we had done and everything, it's something that I could, I showed some sort of potential to handle, like I could be able to handle the pharmacy work, which is quite a lot, you guys, because one of my roommates back in uni was a pharmacist, and a lot of my friends are pharmacists. So yeah, um I showed the potential to handle the pharmacy work, and he was vouching for me and everything. So the dean of pharmacy, said, what, as long as you vouched for the student and the grades are actually allowing and everything, it's like there was just seemingly nothing of an obstacle, yani, about it's not allowing me to do pharmacy, like literally nothing. إلا قدر الله. So at this point, I was accepted into pharmacy school. They opened up a spot for me. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma lak alhamd. So when they opened up a spot for me, I was like calling back home and telling my parents, like, oh guys, me, I'm changing. I'm changing my course. I'm no longer doing clinical medicine. I am choosing. I wanted to do pharmacy because while, like, the video you guys have recommended up here, this video, um, I said, like, I wanted to do something in healthcare. No, I didn't pinpoint exactly where I wanted to be because I had so many interests based on the background of my interest back in high school, of the subjects and everything. I was open to doing anything that is healthcare related, science related. I was open to doing anything. So it's like I haven't gone deeper into this thing, clinical medicine, so I can still do pharmacy, and I know I can catch up. So let me just join pharmacy and everything. So a bit of talking with my parents, a bit of consulting with my friends, a bit of here and there. Even I went back to the same lecturer who vouched for me, and then I told them, like, in as much as, yes, I want to do pharmacy, but what does work as a pharmacist entail? They told me A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. I was like, do I really want to do that? But I was like, okay. So one thing led to the other, and then for some reason, يعني وأكبرهم يعني قدر الله, because of that and Allah's decree that I wasn't like sikujaliwa kufanya pharmacy, I didn't end up joining the pharmacy class, and I ended up not doing pharmacy. But then when, and as much as, in the first years, in the initial years, most of the studying in healthcare, and as much as there will be differences, and there are expected differences, but then you'll find that in pharmacy, they do anatomy, we do biochemistry, we do physiology, we all do some sort of clinical chemistry. But then you'll find that the clinical chemistry that I do as a clinical medicine student is not the same clinical chemistry at some point. It's the same, but it's to the depth at which I do it as a clinical medicine student isn't some sort the depth that a pharmacist will do it. For instance, our biochemistry ended at a point of, like, once we learned about the cycles, we learned about um, the biochemical cycles, we learned about what else? We learned about the several pathways, we learned about the several oxidative pathways and everything, all those pathways and everything, biochemistry, from the structure of the genome, and structure of the cell, structure of, things to do with medicine, transportation, the cell junctions, the cellular disorders, the cancers, and everything related to biochemistry and immunology conjoined at this point, because you can talk about cancer if you're talking about biochemistry, a lot of medicine. Sorry, guys, but what I'm trying to say is that in the initial years of medicine, you get to sometimes share classes with these people. With people, I mean like other cadres, but then the depth to it, at some point you end up doing something, is varies depending on the classes that you take. For example, we used to do physiology and pathology differently, as expected, expected medical student. But then for nursing student, they used to have a course that was written or named as pathophysiology. So this is a unit that they do uh, as a whole, like one single unit. But then for us, it was like we had pathology one, pathology two, pathology three, which is basically a sort of arrangement for the several systems we had in pathology. Long story short, guys, I didn't end up doing pharmacy, but in as much as we shared these units with these other cadres, with pharmacy and nursing, and some students of public health, and uh, there are at some point when we started learning about the clinical sciences, and especially when we joined the hospital, when everything was starting to make sense, and it was like, oh wow. So when we're talking about for instance, a full hemogram, for example, you only learn it, for instance, in immunology, hematology, oncology units. But then when you come to the hospital and you actually see the differentials, or like you see the several cellular components, the several differential components of a cell, like the red blood cell value count, you actually appreciate medicine a little bit more. So when everything was making sense at this point, I was like, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, I did not go to pharmacy. Alhamdulillah, I did not go to nursing. Alhamdulillah, I stuck with clinical medicine. And Alhamdulillah, Allahumma lak alhamd, yani Mwenyezi Mungu kunijalia kubaki uhai clinical medicine. Alhamdulillah. Because I absolutely enjoyed every single, I wouldn't say every single time, but I absolutely enjoyed everything. Because in as much as, from school, like the complexity of studying and everything, the studying made a lot of sense to me, because I was able to learn these very complex things. I was able to learn things about the human body, the diseases and the pharmacologies, and then coming to the hospital and putting everything together, using that knowledge, translating that knowledge into actual, like, actions and steps to actually making someone better. Because tell me why, uh, how happy you wouldn't be learning something in class, for instance, learning how to do a physical examination. For instance, you learn how to percuss a chest, and then you percuss a chest in the hospital and make a differential diagnosis about that. Run your labs, run your chest and image, I don't know, tests and imaging, and then come up with, whatever you had as a differential is actually rolled in. So like, you have a diagnosis, the management plan for this particular patient, the management plan for this particular disease, you implement that plan, the patient ends up getting better, and then you discharge them home. Isn't that beautiful, guys? Like, isn't that just amazing, being able, subhanallah, Allahumma lak alhamd, yani being able to translate knowledge into actual actions that actually make value, and actually seeing the actual impact in someone, and allowing them to go home in a state that they came in so physically really, really bad. And then you were able to use the knowledge that you were given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through the efforts that you did in school and everything you learned and everything you're actually learning, to, change somebody's life. Isn't that beautiful, guys? And that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Like, I am absolutely in love with medicine. In as much as some of you will be asking yourselves, oh, then if you're in love with medicine, then why do you keep on complaining on your Instagram reels and everything, and the shorts and the TikToks and everything? But the thing is that the thing I came to, like what I said earlier, guys, when I find a lot of jargon in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, agitated, I'm worried, I'm stressed. I try to pinpoint the particular area that is actually causing me to feel this kind of way. And when I look back at my experience, specifically in internship, I will come and talk about these things later on, Bismillah. And promise me, remind me, guys, inshallah. If I fail to talk about this thing, please remind me to talk about my experiences, because subhanallah, I have a lot of things to share, guys. Um, the reason why I sort of have a particularly hard time is because of the working hours. When I look back at, you know, medicine and everything, I have, alhamdulillah, I have absolutely no trouble with like the kind of work that we do. I have absolutely seen a shida kabisa. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I have absolutely love medicine. Like, I love going to work. I love going to, but the working hours is what throws me off guard, guys. Because what we have to do as interns, guys, is work the day shift. That is 8 to 5. Then if you're on call, you start from 5 to 8 a.m. next day. And that means if you're short staffed, if you're less interns, you get to continue the next day from 8 a.m. up until 5 p.m. is when you get a chance to go home. I've changed my facial expressions because that is how it is sometimes. We get to work, and it's the mind-blowing thing is that sometimes it's like this from entire, like the entire continent. For instance, I have friends from Nigeria at this point who are telling me that they're working 38 hours shifts. It's not that it's just Kenya alone. It's like the medical system is just rigged at some point, and this is just a conversation we'll be having forever on this channel until inshallah something changes. I don't know if I'm able to impact that kind of change, but that is something else. Alhamdulillah, like I am so grateful to be able to be in a position, Alhamdulillah, to have an impact in people's lives in this kind of way. Alhamdulillah. And that is just one aspect of medicine, guys. There's also another aspect that I absolutely love. Call me weird, call me a nerd, call me whatever you want to call me at this point. But Alhamdulillah, يعني medicine is a field where humility is on top of the list. Like today, I know a surgeon who was a surgeon from the point I wasn't born. Guys, like he has been a surgeon from the point I wasn't born. And this guy is the most humble person I have ever met in doctors. Like, subhanallah, yani, you'd expect this kind of guy to be just arrogant and everything, to be like rude and everything. But subhanallah, the guy is absolutely incredible. So humble, so willing to teach. I know it's not the case across medicine, but subhanallah, the interactions that I've had with the consultants that I've had, it's like the more they grow in their knowledge, the more humble they become. And I'm just awed by how humble these people are, to the point that I'm just like, subhanallah, when I grow up, funny that I still say this, but I do say it. When I grow up, I want to be Dr. So and so. When grow up, I want to be like Dr. So and so. When I grow up, I want to behave like so and so. And this is the kind of impact that I just absolutely love. I know this video is, subhanAllah, it's getting so, so long, but this is just an absolutely honest, open gateway to whatever I'm actually experiencing. Like, this is absolutely no lie, guys. And the other thing I love about medicine is that in as much as you know, like there is no an end point to the learning in medicine. Allah subhanallah, this is something that even in the Quran it's talked about. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. يعني on top of every person that knows something is a person who knows better. وهذا الشيء يعني واقعية. يعني you as an intern, you might know something, but then you think like even at the end of internship you'll know a little bit of something, you know so many things. But no, that is absolutely not the case. And it's absolutely understandable between, all cadres in medicine. You might find someone today, an MO, a qualified medical officer, today is struggling, for instance, to maybe make a certain diagnosis where a consultant comes in and tell them this is actually ABCD, because from the years of my experience, from what I know as a consultant, this is the diagnosis. This is most of the time how it presents. It might chenga you here. It might be a little bit tricky to work with, or maybe how the patient is presenting is a little bit tricky because you can't pinpoint a certain diagnosis. You're just managing the patient symptomatically and you're just problem solving. But then to a real extent of you actually treating the patient or like treating the disease, you are not actually doing something. And that's when the consultant comes in with their experience, with their knowledge and everything. Subhanallah, yani, this is one of the things that makes me love medicine even much better. Like, there's no end point to learning, and learning for me, alhamdulillah, is something that I absolutely love, because imagine gaining a lot of information, just knowing more, like just knowing more every single day. So subhanallah, yani, these are just some of the things that يعني make me love medicine even a little bit. With me here I have this book. I don't know if you can see that. But the Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine, which is a book I got from one of my mentors and as a gift, alhamdulillah. Um, subhanallah, even today, if you know everything in this book, You're going to forget some things, of course. We are humans. وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. But in as much as you know everything in this particular book, you know everything. But then itafika time, yani, subhanallah, you must add something onto the knowledge that you have. Yeah, and there's no end point in learning, and like the learning is a bit constant. And also, like it's just subhanallah, a beautiful place to work in. Medicine is just wonderful. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma lak alhamd. Alhamdulillah. This said, guys, don't get me wrong. In as much as I'm bubbling and waffling about the bright side of medicine, which is just a tiny bit of, you know, the medicine part, getting to share with you guys all these good experiences. Don't be fooled, because medicine is hard, like really, really, really hard. And the hardest part is not just phys, phys, physical, it's physiological, it's emotional, it's financial. Because, subhanallah, like I will tell you guys, the people, al aqal, somebody who has done MBCHP, that is a qualified medical officer, like a medical officer intern, I will tell you at this point, has spent على الأقل كوشاش زايد 3 million 3 million Kenyan shillings to become a medical officer intern, that is. Mind you, the amount of months people go without pay as interns, subhanallah. That is just the financial wise. Look at how many people have done the Bachelor of Science in Clinical Medicine, subhanallah. Today, years back, just because of the reason they are financially incapable of doing MBCHB as self-sponsored students, because of the financial burden, and so many other things that are in medicine that make medicine sometimes dungering, like a prickly profession and a tiring profession to be in. But alhamdulillah, I just love medicine. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma lakal hamd. So, guys, I really have waffled enough today. Sorry for that. But this is something I really wanted to share with you guys, and I hope that this video, at some point, for me, it does some sort of rekindling of my passion to medicine whenever I feel like I'm not into medicine anymore, or like when a point when the colds are getting onto me and like things are getting tough and things are getting just wild. But alhamdulillah, I just hope that this video serves that purpose. And for anyone who is currently studying medicine right now, or like they want to get into medicine, I pray that this video, bismillah, just serves as a form of, encouragement, and like, a form of motivation, like inspiration to whatever you're studying and whatever you're working towards, bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've been here for all this quarter hour, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys for watching my videos and my waffling and everything. Thank you guys so much. I really love you guys. Thank you so much for the endless support that you guys are giving over on my Tutored KE page, Instagram. You guys are really amazing. For every one of you who is liking and sharing my photos and everything. And a special shout out, guys, to Abude. Abude, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for the endless support you've been giving, the endless support you've been, showing over on my Instagram account and the YouTube videos. Thank you guys so much. So, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.